Wuthering Heights is the name of Mr. Heathcliff's dwelling, wuthering being a significant provincial adjective descriptive of the atmospheric tumult to which its station is exposed in stormy weather. What did I just read? I've made it to chapter 4, so I'm 30 pages in, still very, very beginning, and there's already confusion. I'm gonna be honest. I've seen the videos of people either talking about confusion with the characters and their names, and or Joseph and his way of speaking. And I'm figuring it out. I've been sitting here for a while looking at the genealogy that is provided, and I think I'm starting to understand who is who and how everything kind of ties in for the most part for some of the characters. And then I mean, obviously I'm at the very beginning of this book, so everything could change, and there's plenty of time for me to be so lost and confused. But I do think I'm kind of understanding Joseph. There's been a couple of words that just don't, written on the page, they don't translate to how they would be spoken. I guess it's like a dialect, possibly, for a couple of the words. Other words, if you just say them out loud, it's like, oh yeah, it's someone with a strong accent. But it is told from Mr. Lockwood, and he's the lieutenant. There's quite a bit of violence already, only 3 chapters in, showing and hinting at abuse. And in his nightmare, Lockwood takes the wrist of Catherine's ghost and drags it across the, I think, broken glass of the window until there's blood and stuff. So it's quite gruesome, and that just makes me think, what were people thinking whenever they were reading this, whenever this was published? I know there was a lot of controversy, but if I was reading that, yeah, if I was there, I would have been like, oh, that's crazy. And I'm still kind of like that. Is that a bruise? That kind of feels like a bruise, actually. Did I hit my head on something? Oh, what's happening? I got the day off work today because of a supposed major winter storm. Yeah. Let's see, where have I left off? I'm at chapter 8. And Mrs. Dean was like, oh, I'm sorry for rambling on for so long. You need to go to bed. You look sick. And he's like, no. Keep talking. I need to know everything. So, Mrs. Dean is a previous member of Heathcliff's household, before it was his household, at Wuthering Heights. She lived alongside Heathcliff and Catherine, and at times Catherine's brother, I don't remember his name. So yeah, some backstory. We've seen just how violent the household is at Wuthering Heights when they were children. We see how Heathcliff is treated, not only because he's some kid that their father picked up off the street, but also because he doesn't look like them and he didn't speak like them, and he's, not of any importance. We see some examples of Kathy's wildness. She's She's a naughty child, and it doesn't help whenever she's with Heathcliff. They just feed into each other, and you already see them at such a young age being so codependent. And they say at one point, like, the best way to punish Catherine was to separate her from Heathcliff, and that's actually what ends up happening. They go to the I think it was Thrushcross Grange, the neighbors, to spy on them, and Catherine ends up getting hurt, so she stays with them for several weeks, and that's kind of a punishment to separate her and Heathcliff, because they want her to be more like the refined young lady, better behaved. She doesn't need to be spending time with him. He can go work in the stables, do all the labor. Catherine comes back. She's a little bit better mannered, kind of wearing nicer clothes, kind of being what they want her to be more, but she's still wild. And then Heathcliff, at first, he's very distant and reluctant, and he's comparing himself and just being like, just like a poor stable boy. He's had all these bad things said to him and done to him over the years. Well, actually, I don't know how long he's been around at this point, but he does eventually, the maid, the older woman who was actually going back and telling the story, she encouraged him to clean himself up, act like a nice little gentleman, just try, and then you can maybe spend time with her or whatever. So he does get cleaned up, and then before he even sees Catherine, he is seen by the older men, the fathers or something, and stuff goes down, and he ends up throwing something at someone, and they end up whooping him. And his, I guess, lesson taken from that is revenge. He's gonna pay him back. And it says, "I don't care how long I wait, if I can only do it at last. I hope he will not die before I do." And the maid, she says, "It is for God to punish wicked people. We should learn to forgive." He says, "No, God won't have the satisfaction that I shall. While I'm thinking of that, I don't feel pain." So it's dark, these people are, every single one of them, pretty messed up. That is my Wuthering Heights update so far. Very, very fun book. It is messed up, but it is fun. I knew Catherine married Edgar because of this genealogical table, and the future younger Catherine is their daughter, but I don't know, it's like, huh? So this chapter started out with Hindley leaving the house. His wife has died. He's very, very distraught about that. And he leaves one day, and Heathcliff is like, okay, he's gone. I'm gonna not work today because he's not here to tell me otherwise. And so he wants to spend time with Catherine, and Catherine is like, go out to the fields, because she invited Edgar over. Edgar witnesses her violence done to not only the maid, Nellie, right? But also to her brother's son, who I am not sure how old he is, but he's very young, Hareton. And she also blatantly lies. And Edgar's like, whoa. So Edgar leaves for like 2 seconds. He makes it out to the courtyard. And then Catherine's in there sobbing and wailing and being the drama queen that she is. And, taking no accountability, really. And Edgar goes back in, and apparently he's proposed. Before we learn that he's proposed, Hindley, her brother, Catherine's brother, says he killed someone. I don't know if that's actually true. Threatens the maid, the nurse, the nanny, gets a knife in her mouth. And she's like, whoa, can't be doing that. Crazy. And then he drops his child off of the banister, I think. I don't know how far the drop was, but they're like, and then Heathcliff comes. He has such timing. He comes there, and I think he picks up the kid. The kid is not dead, probably injured. Yeah, and Heathcliff's reaction was disappointment. His expression was the intensest anguish at having made himself the instrument of thwarting his own revenge. Had it been dark, I dare say he would have tried to remedy the mistake by smashing Hareton's skull on the steps. Just a bit later, Catherine's gotten married to Edgar. Heathcliff was gone for 3 years. No one knew what happened to him. He has just now returned. I haven't seen their, I can't remember the word. They're coming together. I haven't seen how that plays out yet. Catherine made the speech about how she's going to marry Edgar, even though she loves Heathcliff, but it would degrade me to marry Heathcliff now, so he shall never know how I love him. And that's not because he's handsome, Nellie, but because he's more myself than I am. At that point, Heathcliff heard that portion, and he left and was gone for 3 years. I think she's gonna die. And there we have it, folks. I finished volume 1, part 1. There's 2 volumes in here. So, halfway through? Wow. I do not remember what I last spoke to you about. It has been a few days. But yeah, finished volume 1, really enjoying it. It's like watching a drama, really. It's very entertaining. But the further I get into it, the more I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, these people are, whoa, these are not good people, and they are not well. Let's see, Heathcliff and Isabella ran away, got married, and she pretty much immediately regretted that decision. She's like, he's not a human, he's a monster. And he's very clear about, he did that to kind of exact his revenge on Linton, is that his name? Edgar? I'm forgetting names again. We've seen a bit of Hareton, the young boy, Catherine's brother's young son. He is a wild thing because his father pretty much hates him and treats him very cruelly. And then Heathcliff is there, also not treating him very well because I think he's trying to, it kind of feels like he's trying to turn him on his father, maybe. Something along those lines. I'm not entirely certain on that one. Yeah, Catherine is sick after her big argument between Heathcliff and Edgar and that mess, which was crazy. And she is maybe getting better, but no. It's a very entertaining read so far. I've seen a lot of people say this. I don't know if I've already said this. I've seen a lot of people complain about Joseph's way of speaking and the way she writes, how he speaks and that and stuff. I haven't had any issues with that. There's been a couple of like new words, which I just go check in the notes what they are, but for the most part, relatively easy to read. Maybe a bit slower to go through, but I understand what he's saying. The writing is very good. There's actually been, I feel like there's been a couple of like random like humorous moments. I don't know if that's appropriate, But there's been a couple of moments I'm like, that was funny. Yeah, I liked the use of local folklore, the elf locked and elf shot, stuff like that. I really love folklore like that. It's so interesting. I liked this quote. It is Catherine speaking to Edgar, I think. "I shall never be there but once more," said the invalid, "and then you'll leave me, and I shall remain forever. Next spring you'll long again to have me under this roof, and you'll look back and think you were happy today." So, she's talking about her death. She's pregnant. Yeah, she's pregnant. Whenever Heathcliff is talking to Nellie and basically just really being down on Isabella, there's a couple things that he says that are very of the times and immediately got my attention. I was like, oh wow, this guy is... He says, "I keep strictly within the limits of the law. I have avoided, up to this period, giving her the slightest right to claim a separation." So at that time, it was, not a thing to be divorced or separated or anything. So typically, right to claim a separation is extreme violence towards the wife or abandonment. And even then, it was really hard to prove that and fight that. He says, "And take a good look at that countenance. She's near the point which would suit me. No, you're not fit to be your own guardian, Isabella, now. And I, being your legal protector, must retain you in my custody." So that is him, basically doing the whole hysteria thing. He's telling Nellie to look at her, look at how she looks at me and talks and stuff. I have a right to claim insanity. And then she's definitely under his thumb. So, very of the times, very, very messed up. Catherine is dead. A lot of people died, I think. And we are now dealing with the young Catherine. She has been sending letters and trinkets to young Linton. And clearly, all of this is pushed forward by Heathcliff, of course. I mean, he was very clear in his want of wanting them to marry so he would inherit stuff when his son dies. He's so evil. Oh my god. I'm really glossing over the fact that Catherine has died, but it happened relatively quickly. It was very dramatic. She was sick, she gave birth, and she died 2 hours after birth. And I mean, she did have one final moment with Heathcliff, which was just so much. So much. They're just all, it's just so much. They're all like that. Even Nellie, she's very flawed too. But how could you be anything else, It's really just a lot. It's so much. So yes, Catherine died. Sickness, but also maybe pushed along a little bit by childbirth. But she was sick because she didn't get her way. And then her brother died a few months after her by drinking himself to death. Let's see. Isabella ran away from Heathcliff. He threw a knife at her. Isabella moved away. She lived, I think, another 12 years. She gave birth to their son, Linton, and she died from a sickness. And I think that's everyone that's died so far. Now we're seeing Edgar has caught a cold or something. But I think the person that I'm kind of intrigued by, and maybe has most of my pity is Hareton, because Heathcliff has basically turned him into a younger version of himself. He even says, like, I know what he feels like because I was him or whatever. He's doing it out of revenge. But, like, that really sucks. That one does. I'm like, ugh. And he doesn't even know. He doesn't understand. Because how would he? He's just being used for stupid, petty revenge that doesn't matter. Everyone's dead. Heathcliff is insane. I'm going to guess Catherine and Linton get married and then her father dies, but that's just me saying, like, typically during that time, whenever you were in mourning, you weren't supposed to be doing anything. You were supposed to be respecting the mourning period for however long that was, 6 months, a year, I don't remember. But typically, these are not your typical people. Typically, you'd go into mourning, and that was a whole ordeal. So that's why I'm saying they'll get married and then her father will die. But maybe not. These people, I don't know. Is he about to, like, forcefully marry them? He said he can't enter without her. I don't know how he can legally do that, but, like, what is happening? Oh my gosh. Prediction time. I'm trying not to look ahead. They're going to forcefully be wed, like, right before her dad dies. He's gonna die very, very quickly after. We'll see. Let's do this thing. What is wrong with him? It's odd what a savage feeling I have to anything that seems afraid of me. No. That's like whenever Sophie goes down the alleys in Howl's Moving Castle and they're like, oh, she's scared, how cute. Stop it. Well, folks, I've done it. I read, where did it go? Wuthering Heights. It is finished. I'm sitting at a 4-star rating so far. That could change. A lot darker than I expected. I knew it was gonna be dark. I knew there was gonna be violence. I knew there was gonna be some messed up people. But it exceeded my expectations, and I'm glad for it. I've really been enjoying my more gothic-leaning reads lately, so I'm enjoying it. It was a good book. The ending, I don't know where we left off. It's been a few days. Basically, it ends with, what's his name? Mr. Lockwood, the tenant. He hears the story from Nellie, and he's like, okay, I'm leaving. I can't stay here. I cannot spend a winter here with these people, with Heathcliff. I've got to get out of here. But he still maintains his renting of the place. So he comes back like summer or something. It's been several months. He comes back, he's in the area, and then he's like, oh, I should stop by, maybe like settle all of that because I just left. So basically he comes back and he learns that the young Catherine, let's see, well, okay, Heathcliff died. Okay, Heathcliff died. He was really weird. He was like walking off at night, not eating. He was pretty much being haunted, is kind of what it felt like. Like Catherine was like haunting him and be like, come on, come join me. And he's like, okay. So he died. that happened. Oh, also the whole burying thing. Hey guys, let's not do that. Nellie's come back to live at Wuthering Heights with Catherine, and since doing that, Catherine is more herself again. She's not such, she was turning into a pretty bad person because of circumstances. So she's doing better. She's more herself, she's happier, yeah. And then Hareton, the one that I was really curious about, him and Catherine are settling into their relationship. They're not yet married, they will marry. And she's helping him with his education, learning how to read better, and they spend a lot of time together, so they're gonna get married. Don't know how I feel about that. Like, on one hand, it's like, oh, okay, this book does kind of get a happy ending, like, I think they're happy together, but also, do any of these people deserve a happy ending? Maybe that's not for me to decide. So, conflicted on that, but you know what? I was the most curious about Hareton, really. Yeah, I don't think I have much more to say. It was a good read, very easy read, very entertaining. It was like watching a drama, like a telenovela or something. There was just a lot happening. And yeah, good book. I'm glad I read it. I'm gonna go see the movie with my sister. That movie, I'm going in with no expectations that it'll be accurate to the book. I'm going to go in just wanting to have fun. That's all I want. I just want to have a fun movie watching experience. I've been avoiding any trailers or any of the interviews or anything, so I'm a blank slate. I don't know anything about it other than a few images. Visually, it looks really cool. Accuracy to the book, probably not at all. And I don't know how I feel about the whole like feeding into like, oh, it's a romantic love story. Like, let's not feed into that. Come on. I'm gonna go. If you have anything to say about this book or upcoming movie or previous adaptations, let me know. Love to chat. Yep. Okay.